YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back in Total War Warhammer 2, and we are going to be taking a look at a Greenskins versus Dark Elves matchup that should be a lot of fun. This was sent in by a viewer who has seen a lot of heavy cavalry builds from the Dark Elves recently and thought that this might be a fun battle. He said it's a really close one. I have had a chance to see it. It's very good, and I do think you all will like it. So the Greenskin build has also come heavy with cavalry. There are 4 Boarboy Biggins in total, one of which is the Tusk Mob. So Boarboy Biggins, remember, are kind of a low armor, but they're an armor-piercing anti-large unit at a very nice price. They're pretty glass cannon, but they can do a lot of damage for the price, and that's really what you want to get out of them. There are some Squig Hoppers here, which is going to be the Durkit's Squigs. There's a couple of Night Goblins up front, one of which is the 8-Peak Loonies, and we just got some Night Gobbo Fanatics and some Skulkers on this flank. They are being led by Wurrzag on his War Boar, and then in the back, some Orc Biggins, and then the Krimson Killerz. And I like how the Krimson Killerz is being kept in the very back, almost as a reserve unit. And for the Dark Elves, we have 1 Reaper Bolt Thrower. There's several Dread Spear units, 4 in total, a couple of Bleak Swords, 1 Hargoneth Executioner in the center, a Supreme Sorceress, Lore of Death, and it looks like she is armed with Spirit Leech, Soul Blight, and there's one more there I didn't recognize just right off the bat, Fate of Buna. And then for the Cavalry, there's going to be 3 Cold One Knights and 1 Doomfire Warlock. Now remember, a Doomfire Warlock has 2 bound spells. One is a minor Doom Bolt, and the other one is Soul Blight, which takes away armor and weapon damage. So Doomfire Warlock's a pretty expensive unit, but if used properly, can be quite nice. Now Greenskins don't always do great against large, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why you're going to see this build brought against the Greenskins. There's a lot of armor-piercing damage that comes with the Cold One Knights. The danger is that they berserk. And honestly, I think they need to take away the Berserk from all of the Cold One units. It's just kind of an odd mechanic that just seems to make those units not worth it. If you're going to keep the Berserk, I almost feel like they got to drop the price some more on those units or something. But in any case, here comes the first engagement. Doomfire Warlock's going to use the Soul Blight, but also so does the Supreme Sorceress. I don't think it stacks. Maybe it did. But in any case, that engagement's going to go pretty well for the Doomfire Warlocks because of their use of that ability, but they're also taking a lot of losses, and again, that's where Boars can be very cost-efficient on an engagement. Here in the center, you're going to see the Bleak Swords and the Sisters of Slaughter push forward. These 2 units going to be decent against low armor. Look at that. Both of these cavalry units parked, and the Greenskin player just drops a big old foot of Gork right in the middle of them. Effigy of Degit coming off here, doing a little bit of damage to some of these Cold One Knights and holding them still so that the Orc Biggins reinforcement could come. Look at these Squig Hoppers, ignoring everything, straight into the Shades with dual weapons. Should cause nice damage there, not to mention tying those guys down. A charge into the Dread Spears. He's going to want to retreat after a bit. Some Skulkers following up. You can see here the Executioners get engaged with the 8-Peak Loonies. That's actually a decent trade for the 8-Peaks Loonies because they can't break, and they're going to tie down 2 expensive units for a long time. And you can see this Berserk mechanic playing out well for the Biggins here. We have those guys pinned, and then here the Boar Biggins are going to chase out what's left of the Doomfire Warlocks. You can see those Supreme Sorceress quite safe, causing damage to Wurrzag, which is great for him because the Greenskins can't heal. It's one of their huge weaknesses. And it looks like now that the Murderous Prowess kicking in for some of the Dark Elf units, and Wurrzag having to flee to safety. The Sisters of Slaughter is catching up with the Rusty Heirs, but they don't want anything to do with the Krimson Killerz. At this point, if you think about what's left, the Greenskins are taking a beating except for the Krimson Killerz, and what is left for the Dark Elves that can deal with the Krimson Killerz? Another foot of Gork, brilliantly landed on top of some more Cold One Knights, and the Shades with dual weapons, which is really the only unit left here that can deal with the Krimson Killerz. The only one. You can see the Tusk Mob here, brought behind the lines. It's going to get to the Reaper Bolt Thrower. That's going to be huge for the Greenskins, but the fight is not over yet. The Supreme Sorceress is still very much alive. There's still some Hargoneth Executioners. Wurrzag is quite low, but the cavalry is starting to fall apart a bit here. But again, here's going to be an interesting one. How do you get rid of the Krimson Killerz without some really nice magic? There is a Fate of Buna. Does the Sorceress have enough magic to pull that off? Remember, Fate of Buna costs a lot more, but it would be an effective spell at that point. Wurrzag's going to use Get Back here to try and keep all of his units in combat. Those Squig Hoppers did a really nice job here There goes the Shades with dual weapons. So the number of threats to the Krimson Killerz is dropping. Again, that's why I like that they were brought as kind of a reserve unit here in the very back of the army, giving them the best chance to not get completely wrecked before they even get engaged. Here's a Spirit Leech, and that is gonna hurt. Wurrzag is in big trouble. He gets caught by a couple of Cold One Dread Knights, and Wurrzag is going to buy the Greenskin farm here. And you know how Greenskin leadership is once they start to lose their leaders. Not good. Comes the, oh, what is this? The, oh, I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's like the, some kind of, it's the terror thing or whatever that comes with the Supreme Sorcerers. That's a pretty good spell, and it got some damage done here. It really looks cool, too. What is it, the Black Horror or something like that? Sorry, I can't remember the name of it. It's a really cool spell. Love all these new Vortex spells. So let's see what's left. The leadership of the Greenskins kind of breaking apart a little bit. So very few units left for the Dark Elves. The Executioner, Sisters of Slaughter, the Reaper Bolt Thrower regrouped, but can it get back to its artillery pieces? We'll see. There's a Berserking Cold One Knight, but again, with it Berserking, likely to be cut down by the Krimson Killerz, who now have racked up 42 kills for very little return damage to themselves. So a close fight to be sure. I do not think Night Goblin Fanatics are going to do great over here, but they do manage to get their loonies here, the Fanatics, through the Harganeth Executioners, cause a little bit of damage, and intelligently here they're going to go regroup with the rest of their forces. I like this. The Broken Tusk mob may be lost, but get your forces together, rally them around those Krimson Killerz to have the best chance here, and what a fight we got on our hands. Can the Supreme Sorceress do this at this point? Like I said, it's going to really depend. She's using Arcane Conduit, trying to build up a reserve of magic. Can she get a Fate of Buna? And if she does, will it be enough to break the leadership of these Greenskins? Let's check out the final portion of the battle here. The Orc Boar Biggins are going to be able to deliver some big damage on the charge, but they probably won't last long in melee. These Night Goblin Fanatics will make nice fodder, and then the Rusty Heirs are going to be able to drop leadership, drop leadership and sunder armor here. They have a poison melee attack if necessary, but the armor sundering is going to be really their best function at this late game. Yeah, 30 armor that these units are going to lose whenever they get tagged. Now the Sisters of Slaughter don't really have much to begin with, so not a big deal. Supreme Sorceress either. She's going to get back in the air, but, you know, with the archers around. And then check this out. Oh, fake charge. Tagged by the Rusty Heirs. The only downside is just a couple of heirs also tagged the Krimson Killerz, but that was a nice bit of play by the Greenskins, trying to take advantage of the armor sundering there to really maximize the damage the Killerz are going to do. And they easily mop up what's left of that Executioner. And these Sisters of Slaughter combining with the Supreme Sorceress to try and deal the damage. And you can see the leadership tanking a bit, but not nearly enough on these Krimson Killerz. They are going to finish the job. Here comes the Broken Tusk mob back for more. Their tusks aren't quite fully broken yet. And a close battle to be sure, but a nice victory for the Greenskins here over the Dark Elves. Really like the combination of units here from the Greenskins. Thought it was really cool how you had Squig Hoppers, you had Fanatics, you had Skulkers working with the Krimson Killerz. There was not too much of any one unit here for the Greenskins. They also had Big Guns and Boar Big Guns, really a very flexible army, and Wurrzag is a great leader. You saw how he came with the Foot of Gork and Fist of Gork. Very good support for Greenskin units. You get the Waagh, plus you also get the Fist of Gork and other buffs, and then the Foot of Gork there was very effective at pulling down some of the enemy cavalry and getting rid of some key fights. So really a great job by the Greenskin player using Wurrzag. This was a fun battle. That was Puggington. Did a great job. I'm just going to say Earl over here because I doubt I can't pronounce the rest of that right. Harganeth Executioners picked up some kills, but in the end, Harganeth Executioners, no match for Krimson Killerz. Not even in a level fight would they have won that one. Maybe if they'd had the support of the Supreme Sorceress and the Sisters with a full unit of Executioners, but even that would have been pretty tough. Pretty tough. The Krimson Killerz are one of the strongest, if not the strongest, infantry unit in the game. They are very, very good. That's why they're usually the immediate target of archers and artillery. but you saw that in this time they waited until the end there to engage, and it really worked out well for him. If he hadn't had that unit, his leadership would not have held together after the death of Wurrzag. Really fun army. Like I said, very nice use of this army. And fun army from the Dark Elves here, too. I mean, a heavy cavalry build, not what most people maybe used to expect from the Dark Elves. Puggington was saying that he's finding it more common, so maybe it's something they've gone to. Sisters of Slaughter, an absolute fantastic pick against low armor units. They cause a ton of damage to low armor units, of which the Greenskins have many. Not all, but many. And so they become a pretty solid pick against goblin-type units, but they're expensive. And again, Cold One Knights can deliver a ton of armor-piercing damage, so if you just bring a big ol' infantry line, they can definitely deal that damage to a Black Orc line or something like that if you overload on Black Orcs. The Doomfire Warlocks, very fast cavalry that can help debuff enemy units, and they can also do damage to archers with their Lesser Doom Bolt. Again, these are going to be good against low armor units, possibly held in reserve to try and run off Greenskin Skirmish Cav or Skirmishers. So, interesting pick. And then the Reaper Bolt Thrower, it's an interesting pick on that map because the Alpine Ridge has that, that hump right there in the center. So that's probably why you saw the Dark Elves deploy the way they did, trying to maximize that Bolt Thrower. And don't get me wrong, it's a great unit, but that map, sometimes I have to wonder if that's the right map for it unless you deploy way back and give it a little more space to do its work, because you definitely need to take advantage of what the Bolt Thrower is capable of. Like the Supreme Sorceress of Death, Greenskins can't heal. The Lure of Death becomes very good against the Greenskins, and especially with low leadership potential too. You can always flip in and bring Doom and Darkness and Curse of Years, other things like that. So Lure of Death, in my opinion, very nice one to go against the Greenskins and a pretty solid pick overall. And hope you all enjoyed this battle. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe and click that bell, because YouTube may give you a notification after all those steps. I hope you get the notifications. Hey, by the way, if you all don't get notifications, let me know. If a new video comes out and you didn't get notified and you've got that bell clicked, let me know so I can report it. I've been getting some of those reports, but let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Puggington, and thank you, Earl. I know that wasn't your actual name, but again, shortened version for my sake. Hope you all enjoyed the battle. HeirofCarthage signing out. I will see you with more very soon.